How's it going? Over 5 years ago, I uploaded my first review on this channel. Once again, Doom Eternal proves that running around and killing demons with a shotgun is fun. Okay, we're not watching any more of that. Doom Eternal was the first game I ever did a video about, so it's only right that I talk about the follow-up. Now, I liked Doom Eternal, and I think I enjoyed it more on my second playthrough. I expected a little too much story-wise. It really does not matter. I don't know why that was such a problem for me. And I've come to appreciate the platforming mixed with the gunplay. It creates a unique and intense experience. But the Marauder, yeah, no, I can't forgive that. I never got around to the DLC. I was busy playing Shenmue of all things. Good god. I'm a bit late to this review, but Doom the Dark Ages is of course the follow-up to Eternal. This game is actually a prequel to its predecessors, showing us a time before Doom Guy collected Reddit silver. To be honest, I cannot explain the story that well. Like I said, it's set before the games in the reboot series. I feel embarrassed saying that because this has the most structured and comprehensible story in a Doom game. We have actual cutscenes, we have good guys, we have bad guys, we have stakes, we have tension, we have Doom Guy ore farming with a cape like he's Piccolo, but who are these people, or these people, and why is Doom Guy being mind controlled? Why does this cutscene suddenly end and now Doom Guy is in a forest? If I actually did my homework, I probably would have appreciated this story a lot more, but it's definitely the best one I've experienced in this series. So let's move on to the real reason why people play Doom. id Software cooked with the gameplay, no surprises. We still get our fair share of guns, but now we also have one of the best additions to the series, the shield. Rather than running around and dodging like you did in Eternal, it's more about standing your ground, blocking attacks and striking at the right moment. You can chuck your shield at enemies to stagger them, you can use this charge attack to absolutely plow hordes in front of you, and they've introduced my favourite mechanic in a modern game, the parry system. I mean, in any video game, this is the best defense mechanism. Instead of dodging or hiding for cover, I'm feeling like Naruto when he hit that one combo, especially with that gauntlet attack added. You can parry, throw your shield, blast them with your gun, finish them off, charge at the next opponent. The shield makes it feel like I'm playing a Doom game for the first time again. Like always, every gun has its use. There's not a single one that feels unnecessary. Well, most anyway. With the amount of customization, you can build the ideal kit and whoop some ass in these levels. And I like the variation it offers as well. You can fly with a dragon. I mean, a 10 out of 10 score is looking very likely after saying that. And these mech fights as well, slamming through walls, absolutely decking enemies like a Brexit dad after too many Stellas. These fights are unreal. They give you a break from the typical fights but are just as entertaining. I love the new enemies as well. Sadly no funny Kako demon, but thankfully we do not see this utter wank stain again. I feel like most offer a fair challenge, especially with the new parry system allowing you to fend off multiple enemies at once. Some are definitely more fun to fight than others though. I really don't like this guy. He just barrages you with gunfire before you can land like 2 shots before you immediately have to hold your shield back up. Maybe I didn't fight him correctly, but it was tedious every time. Same for this guy, basically the new Marauder. You're just standing around while his shield is up, then immediately shooting him after a parry before doing it all over again. It is fairly monotonous and breaks the fast-paced nature of the game. Now I was able to beat him later on much quicker. I don't know if I was just doing something wrong or my weapon upgrades made it easier, but at the start, not fun. While the previous games weren't extremely linear, I feel like the areas in the Dark Ages have way more to explore. There's quite a few chapters where you're just thrown into a massive battlefield and there's loads of places to dig around. You're fully encouraged to explore because you reap quite a few rewards by doing so, such as gold and other collectibles. Collecting this mini Doom Guy is an integral part of the plot, by the way. But this semi-open world setting was class. It gave me a break from fighting hordes of enemies, and I really hope id Software continue to do this in the future. You do have challenges in every level, but I wonder would they implement side quests like in other semi-open world games such as Borderlands. I think doing these side quests and getting rewarded with unique abilities that you can't buy would definitely motivate me to explore every nook and cranny in the level. However, as I got further into the game, the levels started to feel a bit samey towards the end. They do introduce a couple more enemies, but it felt like I was fighting the same people over and over without any creative design choices to keep the fights fresh. Sometimes they'd team stronger enemies up to keep it interesting, but I feel like the game was losing that tense feeling that the series is so famous for. The parry system is a great addition, but I feel like they made it a little too critical to the gameplay. Remember when I was explaining the combination of attacks you can perform with your shield? Yeah, it's kind of just those steps over and over. Fun at the beginning, no doubt, but I feel like I was going into every fight with the exact same strategy. Whereas in Eternal, I'm bouncing all over the place, I'm throwing all different kinds of shit at enemies. Every fight felt different even with the same hordes, and that kept me on my toes until the very end. I hate to knock id Software for switching things up to keep the Doom series intriguing, but I wish there wasn't an over-reliance on the shield. Like Resident Evil 4's remake has a parry mechanic, but apart from a couple of boss fights, you don't need to use this in order to beat the game. It's just a neat addition to elevate the already perfect gameplay. I wish it was like that for the Dark Ages. Even having an enemy that fully resists any shield attacks or parries would have kept me clenching my ass cheeks because that would force me to switch up my tactics. It's far from bad gameplay, but I think it loses its steam towards the end. But back to more positive things, the presentation, as per, is fecked. Is this actually me writing the script? I need a proofreader, because what the fuck? It strays away from the hellish look and goes for a more dark and medieval aesthetic. This was a bit of a gamble, as the last time they did something like this, the fans didn't really take it that well, but I think it's implemented very well here. You can still tell it's a Doom game, but it feels new with that mythological look. Some places are absolutely amazing to look at. It's rare nowadays to have a well optimized game on modern platforms, so I have to commemorate id Software for the smooth performance, especially because of another Bethesda release. I mean, I love playing it, but it runs like ass. Now, onto the soundtrack. After Mick Gordon wasn't treated very well during Doom Eternal's development, he didn't come back for the Dark Ages. Doom has one of my favourite video game soundtracks ever, so this was a bit of a blow. Now, a soundtrack won't make or break a game for me, but I feel like Gordon's music definitely elevated those hot-blooded moments of gameplay. The soundtrack for this game is kind of like Metallica's album Load. I mean, not bad, but I'm never going to say it's on par with these. It's still decent, still got that heavy metal music we're familiar with, but there wasn't a single track that stuck with me. It kind of just mellows out in the background. It's not a huge deal, and I don't want to suck off Mick Gordon till it's dry, but it didn't feel the same personally. So, it's a bit tough to rate this game. Doom the Dark Ages brings some brilliant new ideas to the table. The shields, the parry system, the mech, and the dragon gameplay. It all makes this a standout entry. Most of the enemies are great, the semi-open worlds are genuinely fun to explore, and having an actual story made things more engaging, even if I didn't know what was going on half the time. The medieval aesthetic is a cool shift for the series, and while the soundtrack is weaker compared to previous entry, it still holds up. It's an excellent game with some really bright ideas, but I just wish they pushed those ideas further to stop the combat from feeling dull and repetitive at some points. Still, it's absolutely worth playing. And just like I did 5 years ago, I'm giving this game a 7. Alright, I'm back for round 2. Go say sorry to my glorious king, Mick Gordon.